Hey, this is Starman. Today we are going to be talking about getting your characters into the framework. So let's drag out a token here. This is going to be a halfling, and we'll set him to PC because that's what characters are. Okay, and now we're going to hit F4. And what's it asking for here? Enter contents of D&D 4E file? Wait a minute. No, it can't be. Is it talking about the exported character builder file? Well, it just so happens that I've got that exported and I've got all the text on the clipboard, so let's paste it in. And as you can see, that's the tail end of the XML from that file. We'll say OK there, and it goes chug, 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 macro chomps on it, and boom, we have two icons now. And this second one here is your library token. As you can see, it has no macros on it right now, but we're going to add those later. And this here is your player token. That's what you're actually going to be using during your session when you're playing. And that has some macros on it, and we'll talk about those later. Right now, what we're going to do is we're going to go and see, well, did it really import everything? These are your properties in your character, and yes, he's a sorcerer, and there he's a halfling, sure. Hit points look good, and there's the defenses. Those got imported okay. And there's the ability scores. Looks good. And there's all the skills, and those have been gotten in there properly, so good stuff. Okay, now we don't have any powers, as we said earlier, so what we're going to do now is we're going to go to Frankenstein's lab, and we're going to say import D&D 4E powers from that format and say OK. And look at this, it comes up with a power entry dialog. This has all the fields filled in. Now, I'll be honest with you, this is a work in progress. It's doing a pretty good job of recognizing the fields on its own and filling them in, but let me know through the forums if it doesn't for you, and I'll see what I can do about that. This second tab here has all the selectable stuff. So again, these get filled in for you, and hopefully those are okay. If not, you know what? Click on range text. If that's not the right range, select the right one. But that looks good so far. We'll just click OK through all these. It's going to come up with a bunch of them. And as you can see, it's filling in the attack bonus and the damage and the damage type, so that's looking good. And yep, we'll just say OK. You know what? This one's interesting. Nominal range and maximum range. What are those? Well, this is the short range and the long range. Now, in this case, this one represents the area, the distance that it's going to burst out from the origin square of the area burst. And 10, of course, is the range. And if we look over here, yep, area burst 1 within 10 squares. Looks good. So let's say OK there. Here's a new one. This is a condition that is going to be imposed by the spell. It's going to hit the guy and put him prone, and it's going to put him down for the encounter, but I mean, that's just until he uses the stand-up macro, so no problem there. Just say OK. OK there. And we're done. Let's look at the chat window. According to this, it says second chance has been created and lightning strike and all that stuff that we looked at just now. Let's go see. We look at the library token. Ooh, it doesn't say no macros anymore. It has them created here, and as you can see, the tooltip gives some helpful reference. So while you're playing, you can go back to your library token and see what your spell is all about if you don't have your character printed in a PDF or what have you. So that all looks good. So, you know what? Let's take another look at those powers. Let's see. We'll go to Frankenstein's lab again, and we will go to something called Rebuild Power. And as you can see, here's all the ones that we created. Let's go back to that whirlwind. That looked interesting. And as you can see, you can change this. You can, I don't know, maybe it's a dex damage that we're doing. Whatever. Say OK there. There's that prone thing again. And it finishes rebuilding it. It's not really editing. It's kind of, that's why I call it rebuilding. But let's go back to the whirlwind. And yep, it's created it again properly, and that all looks good. And that's it. That's all there is to it. This guy's ready to rock. Thanks for watching.